The news topic that I've chosen to do today is the Denver Nuggets back-to-back 3-1 comebacks over the Utah Jazz and the Los Angeles Clippers, respectively. Being the underdog in the Los Angeles Clippers series really made me want to talk about this subject just because, one, I'm a sports fan, I have been my whole life, and two, I played basketball my whole life. It's something that I've really always enjoyed doing, and it's always been there for me. The reason I want to talk about this is the Denver Nuggets completed NBA history by doing what no team has ever done, and they came back from being down 3-1 in both of these series. It may not seem like as big of news as a news topic as in regard to what's going on in the world, but for someone like me, a sports fan, it really hits home. A little bit of background: the Denver Nuggets are led by their two superstars, Nikola Jokic, the center, a Serbian center, and Jamal Murray, really high-scoring guard. He has his flaws. Defensively he's not the best, but he's still a guy that can give you 25 points, and he can really help lead a team as a star player. In the first series against the Utah Jazz were led by Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert's been a Defensive Player of the Year before. Donovan Mitchell's been a rising star since his rookie year in 2017 and 2018. And without those two, they really wouldn't have gotten to where they were. The Utah Jazz were, and this should be noted, without their third and fourth best players actually, Bogdanovic and Mike Conley. Two of their other scorers and just playmakers that made life easy on Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert. That being said, the Denver Nuggets were able to really establish their defensive game plan around those two, and it made it easier to guard the Jazz as a whole. Mike Conley did end up coming back, but the series was kind of already late, so he didn't really have that much effect on it. So basically, with that series, Utah takes a 3-1 lead. I had actually predicted Denver to win that series in 7 before it actually started. But, and that ended up happening. I was probably myself was one of the doubters of the Nuggets coming back, but it ended up happening. And, when it happened, they went on to face, or should I say, it did come down to a last play in Game 7 with the Jazz and the Nuggets. Mike Conley missed the go-ahead bucket at the end, and it ended up losing the game. So that series, I will say, was probably the most exciting in terms of the playoff series in the bubble, just because of how the way it ended. So after completing the improbable comeback over the Utah Jazz, the Nuggets then moved on to play the Clippers, who were at the time title favorites. They had superstars Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, as well as a really solid supporting cast with big man Montrezl Harrell, and he used to be a star, but he just won Sixth Man of the Year in the last couple of years, Lou Williams. And again, the Nuggets ended up falling down 3-1 to the Clippers, and they ended up clawing their way back into the series and actually winning. This was the one that really made me want to talk about this subject, because I personally had the Clippers as title favorites as well, as long as with most other members of the media, and it really was eye-opening, because everyone was like, wow, the Nuggets really have a shot at winning this whole thing. I mean, it'd be a shock, but it'd be a story nonetheless. After that, they ended up playing the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals, and they ended up bowing out in 5 or 6 games. I believe it was 5 games they lost. Funny enough, they found themselves down 3-1 again, and they didn't come back this time. It would have been quite a story to do it 3 times. I don't think you'd still be hearing about it today. But I don't think you can take away from what the Nuggets accomplished as a team. As a basketball fan myself, it's really eye-opening to see them take out. First of all, taking out the Jazz was a huge accomplishment. But to then take out the title favorite Clippers the series after, that's something else. All that being said, I really enjoyed this year's playoffs. We were lucky to even get sports due to what's going on in the world. But it was still entertaining nonetheless, and I'm going to miss basketball until it restarts. I hope you guys enjoyed this speech, and I hope it was eye-opening a little bit, and you guys kind of learned something new. Maybe you guys will check it out yourselves. And I really hope you guys have a good one, and thanks for listening.